All right, well, here we are. Sanding is all complete. Let's take a quick look at what we've got here. As we expected, a pretty light colored wood underneath all of that purple paint. Nothing too spectacular. It's spectacular. A little bit of interesting grain in the headstock there. Not too much on the top of the ukulele, although there is some variance. The back, a little bit of interesting looking different color. Look at that, interesting looking colors. I don't know if you can see it there. Interesting color. I guess it's grain. I don't think it's joined. The back is kind of interesting. When I say the back, I'm talking about this part of the back. Take a look at this. Lots of interesting wood grain on the side. And then when it gets to this point, there's a seam, and then everything after that is pretty white wood. So sanding was an interesting process. I kind of found it to be a little bit like shaving. You know, you shave off something, and you think, well, maybe I should leave this, or maybe I should leave that. And I thought to myself that I would like to have perhaps some remnants of the purple that was left behind, just to remind myself and to document that this actually, was not, what's going to be on here is not the stock finish. And at some point I'd sanded along here and left strips of paint along here, and it sort of reminded me of sideburns, and after a while I thought, no, those have got to come off. But I'll tell you what I did do. I left this little button right here, the original purple. So it reminds me of that little thing that you have that you leave under your lip, like the Frank Zappa thing or the Steven Tyler thing. I don't know what if it has a name, but there's a little bit of purple there that I left behind. Interesting to note the neck. You can see that there's three distinct pieces of wood here. You can see the dark wood there. I want to say laminated against that other piece of wood. It's a little more. I want to say walnutty colored, but that's probably an insult to walnut everywhere. And then when you get up this end, you probably can't see, but there's a join right around here where there's a third piece of wood integrated. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3 pieces of wood on the neck. It was interesting, as I was going through this sanding process, I actually felt like I was freeing up or unstrangling the ukulele. I thought it got a little bit more resonant as I was tapping and sanding and tapping and sanding. I kind of hope that's the case. So, next step is finishing, and I wanted to show you something. Here's what I'm going to be using. Kind of. Maybe. This ukulele is going to be finished in kind of an orange color, and I thank you to Kathleen for that. I wanted to make it, however, look a bit natural. One of the reasons I got rid of the purple was that I wanted it to look less like a toy, maybe try to at least pass for a bit of an instrument. So we decided upon orange, and I want to try to make it look a little bit kind of natural. I know that sounds crazy, but you've seen those old guitars. As a matter of fact, I think I have a picture of one here. You've seen those old guitars. Take a look at Pat Metheny's guitar here. This is an old Gibson. It's a natural sort of orangish wood grain finish. I know that's a lovely finish, and we're dealing with crap here, but still, I'm going to give it a go for an orange sort of natural finish. Let me tell you what I have. These are $1.99 paints from Michael's. Now, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, and these are acrylic paints, I should tell you. I have been warned against using acrylics for the obvious reasons that they're going to smother, they're going to smother the sound, fill in the wood pores, and all that kind of thing. However, I have had a little bit of experience with this before. I wanted to show you something quickly. Last year, I wanted to assemble a ukulele, so I did, and I finished it with the acrylic colors, paint that I just saw you there, only I did it almost very, very light and kind of a wash. You probably can't see, I wish you could, but you can actually see the wood through this. So this is very, very thin, and I'm going to attempt to do the same thing with these with these three colors here. I'm going to blend them and mix them and try to come up with a nice color, orange, and it's going to be really, really thin, almost like a wash. I read actually on the internet that you could create almost like a stain out of this kind of paint. I tried it with the ukulele, thought I did a good job, and I think I can even do a better job with this one. This is interesting. This is a Krylon satin finish that I've received mixed feedback on. On one hand, publishers of ukulele magazines have said this makes a great finish. Other highly respected ukulele people in our community have said to me, Craig, don't use that stuff. So I'm undecided where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to mix up the color and apply it to the ukulele first and see where we wind up. Now take a look at, before I decide whether or not to use the Krylon, take a look at this. I've been experimenting a little bit with some of the red and the brown mix, and I wish it were a little clearer for you, but this is a paint stick from Home Depot, and I've created a bit of a wash here, and God goodness, I wish you could see it better because the grain comes through quite nicely on the paint stick. So my goal is to create a beautiful, well, as nice a shade of orange as I can, and apply it to the ukulele to come up with a wash, like a stain, like a very thin color coating. I've experimented a little bit with how to apply it. I've tried a cloth, and I might monkey with a sponge, but actually in messing around with paint sticks, what I really thought worked well was actually my finger. So I'm going to be mixing up a bowl of paint and maybe applying it by hand, wiping it with a cloth as we go to keep it as absolutely thin as possible, and hopefully reasonably nice looking. So there you go. There's the sanded naked ukulele with some nice grain and some very, very white pieces. I'm very happy with the feel. It feels nice and smooth. I'm looking forward to applying the color, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.